Do you see Elon is building a town in Texas for Tesla employees to live in? No, I didn't see that. That's cool though. He's making his own little Disney neighborhood. Oh wow. That sounds awesome. If you live there, you have to like his tweets. Oh yeah, I bet if you like don't like one of his tweets or like quote tweet him in a negative way, you lose your housing. You see the pictures of Elon Musk's mom. No, I imagine she just looks like a normal woman. They found a virus named zombie virus that was in permafrost. I'll look it up. That sounds cool. Viruses in permafrost. Scientists have revived the zombie virus that spent 48,500 years frozen in permafrost. Why did we revive that? What could we possibly gain from that? All I can immediately see is negatives. This is cool. In 2014, he managed to revive a virus he and his team isolated from the permafrost, making it infectious for the first time in 30,000 years. Let's go! It's infectious again! Whee! Cool. Looks like we're alright for now, until it begins to evolve. Good. Let's train these ancient viruses for the modern world. That's what we need. How can they say it's not going to affect humans or animals when it was found in a mammoth? I don't know, man. I'm not smart enough to tell you. Probably because it hasn't evolved to attack the modern immune system. And also on the flip side of that coin, the modern immune system hasn't been trained to attack that virus should it be reintroduced. Bad matchup for both. Yeah. What's the point in reintroducing a virus? I don't know. I'm a little confused on the reasoning other than to like train against it. Should it ever have... But would it have ever been released if they didn't thaw it from the permafrost and, like, revive it? It seems kind of worthless. I guess just to study how it must have worked back in the ancient days. But I don't see what kind of benefit you really get from that if it's no longer around today. I really only see negatives with the research. To understand how they evolve. Yeah, but you don't have... You can still do that on a smaller scale. I think they already have a pretty good understanding how most viruses evolve over time. And I don't think it's going to change just based on how far back you go. Viruses are always going to follow the same path of evolution, like I would imagine. Of course, I'm no expert. So it really doesn't seem super beneficial that this is 48,000 years old to study. But... Maybe there's some huge positives that I'm not considering. Yeah, the thing about viruses is how quickly they evolve. Like, very quickly. Like, look at COVID. They had like 9 different strains in 6 months. You don't really need to go back 48,000 years to understand how evolution works with viruses. I imagine this one's very similar. It probably evolves extremely quick, just like the rest. The common cold constantly changes. The flu constantly changes. The flu changes every year. This doesn't seem super necessary. All I can see is huge negatives. Why study things? What a fucking take. It's not studying it. It's reviving it. Making it infectious again. To study it in its most dangerous form. I don't see the huge benefit. What do you mean? We're talking two very different things. R&D for antivirals, new approaches to combat for retroviruses like HIV, PS viruses with antigenic drift shifts similar to virulent factors are the ones that change really fast. From a 48,000-year-old virus seems highly unlikely. Especially considering this one is claimed to not be able to infect humans or mammals. I don't really see how that'd be super helpful with modern viruses. A microbiologist, the virus really has no chance of surviving in humans today. Viruses need very specific conditions to survive as well as a host. They're not like bacteria, which are tougher. Yeah, but I mean, how often do you see a 48,000-year-old virus, right? Like, point is, they don't know. No one knows. They're currently studying it. I'm sure the scientists that worked on COVID probably thought something similar. Since now the leading theory is that it actually was in a lab, so I mean, shit changes constantly. The point is, you just don't know. It's hard to tell. Is the resub Dougal? Not the leading theory. Didn't the, what are they called? Not the WHO. Whichever one put out that huge statement about how it was most likely a lab. Is the resub Sopo. Who was it, actually? Oh, this was only 2 days ago. Yep. This seems to be the more leading theory now. Oh, it was the U.S. Energy Department that put out the statement a couple weeks ago. It's heavily contested. It is heavily contested, but it's much more of a likelihood than previously thought possible. You trust the energy company. Yeah, I guess. It's just reading a lot of different shit. Who do you trust? I'll trust who you trust, because surely they wouldn't lie. No one. I trust nobody, which is why I don't believe anything. I read everything and it's all fake. If a virus turned everyone into... Well, if you're talking about the zombie virus, I don't think that's actually the claim. I think they're calling it the zombie virus because it's lived for so long, frozen in the permafrost. So they're bringing it back and thus calling it a zombie virus. At least my understanding of why it's called that. If rabies evolved, we would see a zombie virus. Rabies is one of the scariest things on the planet in general. It's not a virus though. Rabies is prions, right? I can't quite recall. No, it is a virus. What am I thinking of that's a prion? Oh, chronic wasting disease. Mad cow. Is that another name for chronic wasting disease? Because that's the one I was thinking of. Chronic wasting disease is the one that turns deer into zombies. That was the one I was thinking of. This one's fucking nuts. Isn't rabies only spread through saliva when an animal comes in contact with your blood, like when it bites you? Yeah, it's transmissible through like a bite or a scratch. It doesn't have to be necessarily saliva, right? That's just the most common one is through a bite. It's more rare to get it from a non-bite exposure. But yeah, you can get it from scratches, abrasions, or anything that's an open wound. Rabies has a high mortality rate, if I remember right. You do, because it's a 99% mortality rate. There's only one known rabies survivor, and they survived because they literally turned their fucking brain off. The person survived, but it's a vegetable.